That's the fixative I use, which is a 5-in-1. It's the preparation for the MAC program. I always spray the face. I can wet this client's face well so that it gets wet over the moisturizer. And this preparer, this is going to give a glow to the makeup and a prettier finish, as well as ensuring the makeup more, so it's going to make that makeup last longer. With the skin prepared and sterilized, we'll start because of the base coverage. Yung gamit sa Kivasima at yung mga available tip, you really need to understand the tone and undertone well. They can go wrong with the base color and match the base tone for less or more. We managed to give you a tip on how we'll resolve this with the suit whenever not based from the face, but the ideal is that you achieve by looking, revising with the eye, identify your client's skin. So yes, we are going to grab the base. Let's take the base. The one I'm going to use is a 24-hour base. Looks pretty durable. It's a matte effect and it leaves the skin with the velvety effect. It's a very pretty foundation, so we're going to test this foundation and be certain that we're using the right one. It's useless to match the face with the arm. Some people like to use the sun in the afternoon and arrive here with a white face, with a white part, and the arm here and the arm will golden. There's no way to match. If you try to match the face with the arm and with the rest of the body, the effect of your makeup will not look good. So what are we going to do? There's no way to make that result a bit clearer than the arm. While you've used a middle ground, Chibishi has a very uniform body, so we can see that the color of the arm is practically the color of the face. So we're only going to use the skin tone base color for her, right? How do we know it's the right one? By kung sinara des not wanting to say unosipus, and we are not wanting to get in the tone, so we are not wanting to lose product, and lost product is lost money. Pusan no siya umakat for anything on us. It's when you have for say go and do is put this foundation on the client's face. Here comes the division of the cheek with the neck. And then we're going to be able to identify with the SPEM's uniform. Same look how it becomes uniform. You can visualize how the face becomes uniform, where she has the base and here on her neck, until it might be a tone a bit more or a bit less, but it's the same undertone as the client's skin. And we're not going to change much in relation to the tone of the arms. So let's go. We've managed to identify that this is the client's color. So let's start applying the base. I always place the base either on a palette or here in this part of the hand. To make it easy, I always use this sponge. This is the sponge that I use, and you can use the brand you prefer the most. And that is the one I use. It is imported, but you can use whichever you prefer. So I'm always going to tell you, always dampen the sponge. The sponge needs to be damp to give that finish on the face, to save for you. Because if the sponge is damp, she's not going to absorb the base. So she's going to apply the base on the face and will give a nice finish without stealing the product. How are we going to begin this application? We put on some foundation. There is no starting point. You can choose what is easiest for you. Then we're going to lightly tap on the face. Please, it has to be gentle. We're not going to do it abruptly. Then we do it with love and care, and we are going to put the product in the pinch. This here is like a massage we're going to do on our client. It's not just makeup. We're applying it. This is the correct motion. Realize that I am not dragging, I am not pressing, I am depositing the product on the client when I deposit the product, because I need to give these slight touches, because these touches, it's the movement that will allow us to blend this foundation on the face. So if I apply the product and don't blend, it's going to look very heavy on the skin. With a damp sponge, I managed to blend and give durability to this foundation coverage. So we continue to apply it all over the face, spreading. And I remind you to always be careful in the eye. Ask your client to look back, look up well, and the further she looks back, the less she's going to bother. When it comes to correcting the area of the dark circles, subtitles made by the Amara.org community. Here in this part, I always remind you of this space on the nose where I always put more foundation so that ugly finish doesn't remain. So we always give these light touches, and if you realize that I already had a pimple here, later I'm going to tell you how we're going to correct the colors of the thorns or the spots on the face. But I never do correction before the base unless there are very large stains. Let's assume she's wearing a very strong pink, so I correct it before the foundation. But if it's a light pink, weak, I always do the correction later with corrective and with a normal illuminating corrector. But let's assume that Isabella has a baby spinach, very red and infected. We will know later when we are going to apply colorimetry. We will see. Let's understand which colors neutralize stain colors. I'm going to tell you very quickly here. These pimples, if she had them very red, we are going to apply a green corrector. Because you buy a palette of correctors and you understand nothing, and you are going to purchase it and they deliver you a green, pink, red color palette. You guys wait and then run off and don't know why you're going to buy this here. It's that detail. With the rest, we correct with a green and you are going to say, oh, but it's going to be green. No. You make that correction before the base. So you applied the green on the red now that on top of the base, and that red thorn is going to disappear. We are going to neutralize the red color with the green color and then put the base on top. So the colorimetry is fantastic, but I'm going to talk about this later about colorimetry. But continuing here with our coverage process of this skin, a Marinayo setting, I can always apply it around all the edges of the face. There's a very important point. Don't forget to make the correction under the ears to also match the skin tone. Then we correct this area of the neck because it's very ugly when that marking is here on this part of the face. And people who only apply makeup from here up and from here down, there's that marked line where they didn't apply makeup. So always bring that makeup down and you don't need to go over the base again. Just with what the sponge already has, you lower it. You're spreading it from the top down and making a blend to hide the saline imperfections. And we are using the same tone of makeup as Isabella, but Isabella's scalp tends to be lighter because the hair is covered by the sun, so that part really is lighter than the face. Always remember to blend that part of the hair as well. And use a bit of the foundation to remove that scalp marking as well. So we are not going to leave that effect like a strange weird finish, so we are also going to apply in this area of the head. You can also bring the base to the eyelids. We can spread this base while on the eyelids without any problem. If by chance a mature skin client comes in, which is a bit more aged skin, what are we going to do? We're going to reduce the expression lines and soften that makeup in the eye area using the most liquid makeup possible. So mature skin doesn't use high coverage makeup, very creamy makeup. The ideal is liquid foundation, as liquid as possible, because it will give a more natural finish and it will not crack the skin wrinkles. So we're going to finish applying our foundation like this. Do you think so? There is still another to do. layer, you can make a layered foundation. Sometimes the person has imperfect skin with the sleeve. And if you think it's a very clear finish, you can put on another layer with the foundation, building layers as if we were building layers. 2 is a foundation finish. See if it match your need or the client's, and if not, you can make another layer as we did before, placing it on top of the layer we made earlier